Uh, this is pretty devastating. This is pretty devastating. I don't think LA's seen anything like this before.
At least 5 people are dead as wildfires rage through Los Angeles. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Thursday, January 9th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Authorities have called it one of the most catastrophic fire events in California history. At the time of this recording, there are 5 active wildfires burning in Los Angeles County. That's according to CAL FIRE. In the west, much of the Pacific Palisades neighborhood has been destroyed. In the east, flames quickly consumed neighborhoods in and around Altadena and Pasadena. At least 130,000 people have evacuated because of the blazes. Dangerous smoke is threatening health across the region, and firefighting and emergency response officials have been stretched to the limit. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass spoke about the dangerous winds which fueled the flames and are set to peak again tonight.
Hurricane-force winds are usually accompanied by rainstorms, but these are hurricane-force winds that are combined with extremely dry drought conditions. To those who fled their homes, especially those who have lost your homes, our hearts are breaking for you, and we stand with you.
For more on this story, listen to yesterday's episode of Post Reports. My colleague Brianna Sachs described the widespread destruction in Pacific Palisades, where her own father had to evacuate. Find Post Reports wherever you listen to podcasts. The Justice Department plans to release a report on Trump's January 6th case. That's number 2. In a court filing yesterday, the Justice Department confirmed what it plans to do with Special Counsel Jack Smith's findings in 2 Trump investigations. The first deals with Trump's January 6th case, covering his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The other investigation looked into his alleged mishandling of classified documents. When Trump won the presidential election in November, Smith said he would wind down both of these federal cases against Trump. Yesterday, the Justice Department said Smith's findings in the January 6th investigation will be made public, but it does not plan to release findings in the classified documents case because of continuing litigation against Trump's co-defendants. Smith's report could explain the strategy the government would have used against Trump if either case had gone to trial, and it could shed light on the full scope of the evidence gathered against him. Number 3. Jimmy Carter's funeral will be held at Washington National Cathedral today. The 39th president died last month at 100. Today, he will be honored with a state funeral in D.C. Events will begin at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, when Carter's casket will be moved from the Capitol, where he's been lying in state. From there, a motorcade will take the casket to Washington National Cathedral, where the service will begin at 10 a.m. After that, Carter's body will be flown to Georgia. He will be buried in his hometown of Plains, next to Rosalind Carter, his wife of 77 years. She died in 2023. If you want to watch the historic events, the Post will have live coverage this morning. We have a YouTube link in our newsletter. As usual, you can find a link to that in our show notes. Number 4. President Joe Biden will leave the question of Syria's new Islamist leaders to Trump. Last month, rebels led by the group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, shocked the world as they ousted Syria's dictator Bashar al-Assad in a swift offensive. But the future of Syria remains uncertain. Yesterday, officials told the Post that the Biden administration will continue to designate HTS and its leader as terrorists for the remainder of Biden's presidency. The terrorist designation and continued sanctions could slow down Syria's economic recovery. But U.S. officials said the rebels must demonstrate they have made a clean break with extremist groups like al-Qaeda before the label can be lifted. The decision of how to proceed will now be up to Trump, who takes office on January 20th. A huge snowstorm will hit southern states today. That's our fifth story. Areas from Texas to the Carolinas are about to experience their first major winter storm in years. Winter storm warnings, watches, and advisories spanned 10 southern and central states yesterday. Significant snow accumulation is expected in cities including Dallas, Little Rock, Memphis, and Nashville. The storm could disrupt schools and businesses and create hazardous travel conditions. By early Saturday, it will track toward the East Coast, bringing snow to areas that were pummeled by a storm earlier this week. Then, over the next week, Arctic air will continue to flow across the U.S. There's still a lot of winter in store for us. Number 6. Ancient Rome's process for making coins may have lowered people's IQs. Silver fueled the rise of the Roman Empire. Its coin-based currency accelerated trade, filled tax coffers, and funded military conquests. But the way the empire mined and extracted silver also sent so much lead into the air that it probably made the population slightly stupider. That's according to a new study. It found that the release of lead pollution could have reduced the typical person's IQ by up to 3 points. So this is a very early example of how industrial pollution can harm human health. It also reignites a long-standing debate about whether mass lead poisoning could have contributed to the fall of the Roman Empire. Number 7 is some good old-fashioned positive news. A hiker who went missing for 2 weeks was found alive. Hadi Nazari is a 23-year-old medical student. On December 26th, he went missing while hiking with friends in a rugged area of southeastern Australia. He had stayed behind to take photos on the 5th day of their trek, but when he didn't rejoin his friends as planned, they alerted authorities. That sparked a 13-day search effort. The search ended yesterday afternoon when Nazari managed to get the attention of a group of hikers. They posted photos on social media of themselves sitting with a thin and disheveled Nazari. He told rescuers that he had survived by drinking water from creeks and eating berries, as well as 2 muesli bars he found in an empty hiker's hut. Officials said Nazari is in great spirits and apparently unharmed, and now he has an amazing anecdote to tell for the rest of his life. All right, you're all caught up. There's a lot going on in the news. The best way to stay on top of it and support the work of Post journalists is with a subscription to The Washington Post. Right now, it will only set you back $40 for a year's all-access digital subscription. Just head over to WashingtonPost.com/subscribe. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.